Hello and welcome again to Crime Chronicles. Have you ever wondered how a seemingly ordinary evening can turn into a night of horror? Tonight, we delve into a chilling mystery that will leave you questioning the very fabric of reality. As the sun dipped below the horizon on that fateful night, a sinister plot was unfolding in the heart of our city. Imagine this, a dimly lit alleyway, shadows dancing eerily against the walls, and a sense of dread hanging heavy in the air. But brace yourselves, because what we uncover next will shock you to the core. It was a typical Thursday evening in Bangalore, India, the air thick with anticipation as the local theatre group gathered for their final rehearsal. The small, dimly lit room buzzed with the usual pre-performance jitters. However, the normalcy shattered when the group found a man, lifeless, seated rigidly on a chair centre stage, a spotlight casting an eerie glow on his pallid face. Confusion rippled through the room as members whispered and speculated. The director, a stern-faced woman, approached the body, her steps hesitant. The room fell silent, every eye fixed on her trembling hand, reaching out to touch the shoulder of the corpse. As the reality of the situation sank in, panic ensued. The police were called, and the room became a flurry of blue uniforms and flashing lights. Among the onlookers was Ravi, a software engineer whose eyes were wide with disbelief. Hidden beneath his shock, however, was a trace of something unreadable, a secret, perhaps. What could Ravi be hiding? Stay tuned for a revelation that will send shivers down your spine. Join me as we unravel the mystery together. Let's go! Ravi was known in his office for his impeccable logic and calm demeanour. As a software engineer at a leading tech firm in Bangalore, he had a reputation for solving complex algorithms with ease. His colleagues admired him, yet none knew much about his personal life, which he kept meticulously private. At home, Ravi was a different man. His small apartment was cluttered with vintage electronics and old books, a stark contrast to the sleek modernity of his workplace. It was his sanctuary, a place where he tinkered with gadgets and escaped the structured chaos of his professional life. However, not even his closest neighbours could predict the depth of the secrets Ravi harboured. Secrets that began to surface after that fateful night at the theatre. Secrets that hinted at a dual life far removed from the mundane routine of code and coffee. Ravi's wife, Anita, was as enigmatic as she was beautiful. With her deep, knowing eyes and quiet smile, she often gave the impression of knowing more than she let on. Few knew of her before she married Ravi, and even fewer understood the nature of their relationship, which seemed cloaked in silence and mystery. Anita often spent her days in solitude, her activities unknown even to her closest neighbours. Ravi, busy with his work, seldom spoke of her, and when he did, it was with a brevity that discouraged further inquiry. This isolation only deepened the intrigue surrounding her, especially after the incident at the theatre. On the night of the murder, Anita was notably absent from the rehearsal, despite being listed as a part of the crew. Her absence raised questions, her shadowy figure a puzzle piece in a game that was growing increasingly complex. As the investigation unfolded, her role and her past became focal points, pulling her reluctantly into the spotlight. The night of the murder, the theatre was supposed to be locked after rehearsals, but CCTV footage revealed someone lurking around the premises long after the group had left. The grainy video showed a figure, hooded and unidentifiable, entering the theatre at midnight, their purpose obscured by the shadows. As investigators scrutinized the footage, Ravi watched alongside them, his face unreadable. The tension in the air was palpable. Each frame of the video seemed to thicken the mystery rather than clarify it. It was a puzzle, each piece maddeningly just out of place. When the police identified the corpse as a local small-time actor known for his gambling debts, the plot thickened. He had no clear connection to the theatre group, and his presence there, in such a macabre setup, was baffling. Ravi, however, seemed to stiffen at the mention of the actor's name, a reaction that did not go unnoticed by the sharp-eyed detective leading the case. As the investigation deepened, peculiar clues began to surface. A set of fingerprints on the back door of the theatre matched Anita's, yet no one recalled seeing her that night. Moreover, a torn piece of fabric from one of the theatre curtains was found clutched in the dead man's hand, suggesting a struggle or a desperate attempt to communicate. Ravi's behavior grew increasingly erratic. He was seen talking to himself, pacing in his apartment at odd hours. Neighbors reported hearing arguments from the couple's apartment, voices raised in a pitch of desperation and fear that was uncharacteristic of the quiet pair. Further complicating matters was the discovery of an old photograph in the victim's pocket. It depicted a younger Ravi with the victim, both smiling, with an arm around each other's shoulders. This revelation was shocking to those who knew Ravi as a reserved and private individual. The connection between him and the victim hinted at a past that Ravi had long struggled to keep hidden. The interrogation room was stark, the air thick with tension. Ravi sat across from the detective, his hands clasped tightly together, his face a mask of calm. Each question seemed to peel back layers of a carefully constructed life, revealing the complexities beneath. "Why didn't you tell us you knew the victim?" The detective's voice was stern. Ravi's reply was soft yet firm. "It was a long time ago. We had lost touch," he explained. His answers were measured, but sweat beaded on his forehead, betraying his nervousness. As the hours passed, the interrogation seemed less about finding out what Ravi knew and more about understanding his relationship with the victim. The detective probed deeper, asking about Ravi's past, his sudden marriage to Anita, and her peculiar behavior. With each answer, Ravi seemed to shrink smaller, a man burdened by the weight of his secrets. It emerged that Ravi and the victim had once been business partners in a small tech startup. The venture failed disastrously, leaving both men in financial ruin. Ravi had managed to rebuild his life, but the victim had spiraled downward, eventually becoming entangled in the murky world of gambling debts. Anita's role became clearer when a witness came forward, claiming to have seen her at the theatre on the night of the murder. She was allegedly arguing with the victim, her voice harsh and unfamiliar. This confrontation, it seemed, was the culmination of a series of threatening messages she had been receiving from him. The detectives discovered that the victim had been blackmailing Anita, threatening to expose damaging information about her past if she didn't pay him off. Ravi was unaware of the blackmail, but he knew of Anita's troubled history, a past she had fought hard to leave behind. As the puzzle pieces fell into place, a shocking twist unfolded. It wasn't Ravi or Anita who had murdered the victim. It was the director of the theatre, a woman scorned by the victim's false promises and debts. She had staged the murder to look like a macabre part of the rehearsal, using her intimate knowledge of the theatre to manipulate the scene. The discovery came when the police found the murder weapon, a prop knife usually stored in the director's office, wiped clean but with a faint trace of her fingerprints. The director confessed, revealing a tale of betrayal and rage that had pushed her over the edge. Ravi and Anita were absolved of the murder, but not of their secrets. The ordeal had forced them to confront the truths they had buried, and though free from suspicion, their lives were irrevocably changed. The community reeled from the revelation, struggling to reconcile the image of the quiet director with that of a murderer. In a quiet, almost resigned voice, the director detailed her actions on the night of the murder. "He promised to pay back everything, and then some," she explained, her eyes hollow with the weight of her confession. "But I knew he would never change. It was the final act of a desperate woman." Her confession was a somber affair, filled with moments of painful honesty and regret. It was not just a confession of murder, but a public unburdening of years of frustration and deception. As she spoke, the reality of her actions seemed to settle around her like a heavy cloak. Ravi and Anita listened from the back of the room, their expressions a complex tapestry of relief and sorrow. The confession not only freed them from suspicion, but also from the secrets that had entangled their lives. In a strange twist of fate, the murder had liberated them in ways they could never have imagined. The Bangalore mystery, as it came to be known, was more than just a murder. It was a revelation of the complexities of human nature. It underscored how closely reality and deception can be intertwined, how the facades people build can hide not just secrets, but deep, often painful truths. Ravi and Anita, though cleared of the crime, found their lives altered. The community's view of them changed, and they themselves could not return to the innocence of their prior existence. The case had peeled back the layers of their lives, revealing the raw and often harsh realities beneath. In the end, the Bangalore mystery was a mirror held up to all involved, reflecting the myriad shades of truth and deception. It taught a hard lesson. The line between reality and deception is not just thin, but often invisible, blurred by the complexities of human emotions and motivations. If you found this video intriguing, be sure to give it a like and share it with your friends who enjoy delving into the most spine-tingling true crime stories. Stay tuned for more captivating explorations of the unknown. Let's go!